Hello, this is your girl, Dr. Brianna Boss James, aka Dr. Boss, the founder and CEO of She Bossin' Up and P31X. Listen, welcome to the carpet. If you're in a position to do so, go ahead, light a candle or something, grab your favorite beverage, and let's get into this thing on today. What I want to share with you today is the power and the importance of now. Time does not stand still for anyone, and next time or later doesn't always show up. I'm going to warn you now. This is a slightly deeper episode, one that stirs up some serious emotions, and I'm doing some deep breathing to get through this one. But the things that I have learned, that I've been taught, have been so transformational that I didn't want to keep the lessons to myself. Now, I don't know about you, but so many times in my life, I found myself saying things like, next time, or later. Next time I'll do this or that, or when I get there later, I'll take care of that, or when I talk to them again, I'll tell them what I need to tell them. I know I am not alone in this absolutely terrible and horrible habit. Now, my most frequent and horrible habit is when someone, quote unquote, runs across my mind, as people say, and they stay there. And I tell myself, okay, I'm going to call them later. When I'm finished with this, I'm going to call them. Or it usually happens when I'm in the car driving. So it's like, okay, when I stop driving and I get home or to my destination, I'm going to call them. And of course, every single time, I forget and don't make the call. I've even had opportunities to make investments, and I tell myself I'll look into it later. And of course, per usual, I forget, nothing happens, and I miss out on killer opportunities. I mean, even with this podcast, there have been delays. I started in 2020, and you know as well as I do that life took some serious hits in 2020. The hard knocks were everywhere in 2020. They were at like 3/4 mass in 21, and they are trying to make their way into 2022, and I'm just not having that. So here's a tiny little glimpse of a bit of the last couple of years of what's been happening in my life. So I have been sick and struggling with various health issues on and off throughout the last couple of years. Back starting in 20, I had major issues on the job where the boss that I had that was lovely at the time, she resigned, and they brought in this new individual, and this thing was not qualified to manage a piece of paper, let alone people. And so it was a constant struggle every day at work. Same time, my mom got sick with COVID, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. She was really sick. It just lingered bad. But God on that one. She did get better. Bless the Lord. I'm so happy for that. A little time passed due to COVID. I lost that main source of income that I had. It was one of those blessings, but yet, oh man, this really sucks at the same time. And then, of course, like everyone else during that time, I applied for unemployment. And I got to sit back as I had problem after problem, struggle after struggle, trying to get my unemployment, and watch people scamming and scheming and easily get money that they didn't qualify for. I've heard of and know some folks who haven't worked in years claiming unemployment and receiving the funds with no problems. Yet it was like pulling teeth, and I had to jump through hoops just to get my money. It was very crazy times. Then a few months later, things passed along, and we were moving from the place that I always called home. And it's one of those things where I didn't think there was really going to be any emotion towards that. But the reality of no matter where I went to and from throughout the years of my life, home was always home. In that spot, you don't have to think about the address. You know the address. You don't have to think about the phone number. You know the phone number since birth. That has been like the anchor spot. And in a moment's decision, that was gone. And even worse, which was it was a tough blow. At the same time, we were doing the final packing a day before we were set to move. We received a call from the hospital, and my grandmother, my absolute favorite person in the whole wide world. I mean, my ace boon coon, my one. I would walk into her house and we would look at each other and she'd be like, ah, that's my dog. Oh my gosh. Ugh. My grandmother was hilarious. The doctor called and said she wasn't doing well and she was barely responsive. And shortly after, she passed away. And it was like a chunk of my heartbeat and my soul was gone in an instant. Just gone. House gone, grandmother gone, money gone. I mean, it was just it was a rough patch. And right after that, the house was gone, but there was no new house to move into yet. So I did have the blessed occasion, and yet it was rough, but it was fun at the same time, kind of crazy, bouncing between my friends' places, between Texas and New Orleans. It was a little adventure to keep me having a place to stay while we worked on the new house. And I had more health issues as time passed, and then, bless the Lord, things kind of started to smooth out, and they were going good towards the end of 2021 as we went by. And then some lovely, ignorant individual thought it would be an absolutely excellent idea to vandalize my Jeep and put sand in my tank. Now, listen, I ain't done nobody, no nothing to have such a thing done. And I mean, no nothing. Anybody that knows me intimately will tell you I don't do nobody no nothing. And yet still, that happened to me. And on top of it, what should have been a quick fix, maybe a week or two, depending on things, took 3 months to get handled due to repeat delays in parts delivery. I didn't have a vehicle for 3 months, making payments for 3 months, and the thing was just sitting at the shop. Some genius made a decision that negatively impacted my life. I didn't ask for that. That's just what they chose to do. Completely insane. Now I can keep going, but I think you kind of get the point. Life has been a bit much with just what I told you in the last couple of years. And yet, as I sat back and thought about it, life kept happening. Time kept moving. It didn't stop and stand still, and everything else just was like, okay, we're going to make everything right while things are going wrong. Everything that was going to happen in life as it happened kept happening. I mean, think about everything that you've been through in the past year or two. While you were going through what you were going through, the entire world, we were going through this huge thing together, but yet you still had your stuff, your drama, your junk, your mess, your everything that you were dealing with in that moment. But time didn't stand still for you either. You had to keep moving. You had to keep going. You had to keep doing. But if somewhere along the way, you allowed yourself to stop moving and to stop doing, I want to encourage you that today is a good day to make changes in those areas. So the Bible tells us in James 4:13 and 15, come now, you who say today or tomorrow, we will go into such and such town to spend a year there and to trade and make profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or do that. That is one of those scriptures that really anchored me after, all of these things happened. Because, 2020, everybody had their plans of what they were going to do. Oh, we were going to go big and we're going to do everything. And then it shut down on everyone. And so plans just didn't happen. And things that we said we do, that we profess we do, that we want to do, didn't happen. And even the things that we put off doing, that didn't want to do, we probably were happy in the moment that things kind of took place so we didn't have to do them. But, reality hits when everything settles in and you realize that you still have things to do. But the reality is, look, if the creator of the heavens and the earth knows that we shouldn't make claims based upon later because later might never arrive, why in the world do we human people keep doing it? That right there, between this scripture, reading it one day, and then thinking back on a life lesson that hit me really, really hard, it made me really get into this newfound habit of not just saying, if the Lord will, but really believing it. Hey, if the Lord wills, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to go here and there. Now, this life lesson that sparked change in me was a very sad and hurtful one, but it was lasting, and it has definitely helped me minimize the level of procrastination that seeks to come up in my life. I'm one of those people who like to learn from everything that happens in my life and even in others' lives. I mean, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, it doesn't matter. Now, there have been some lessons that I learned easily, and I can see something happen to someone, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to do that. If that happened to them, I'm not anyone with any special superpowers or anything going on. If it happened to them, it can definitely happen to me. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to leave that right where it is. I'm not touching it. Pride does not have that hold on me in that area. I'm good. If it can, it might. So no thank you for me. And I'm good. Then there are other times when I've had to go through the dirt and the grime of things and the hurt to learn the hard knocks way, because apparently that was the only way that I was going to learn in that time, space, and moment. So I definitely bless and thank the Lord for growth in many areas, because I don't do a lot of the hard knocks ways anymore. So here's my life lesson. A few years ago, I went back to New Orleans for a little visit, and I was supposed to have dinner with my little play brother. And we both were kind of busy in the midst of things, and we pushed it off. And we both said, next time I come down there, we'll chill. Now, I was all excited because I just knew the next time that I was going to be able to go down there and spend some time with my little brother. It was going to be this pocketed moment of time right before he was going to get married, and we would chill and have these deep talks that we always have whenever we hang out together. And I was so excited about that. I was going to tell him how absolutely proud I was of him and everything that he was doing in his life and his walk with Christ, his growth and development as a man. It was just wonderful, and I could not wait. And yet, that day never came, and it will never come. There's no more chilling times. There's no more laughs, no more deep talks, no more conversations, no smiling and dancing at his wedding. No more anything. I got a call one day from my god sister, who let me know that my little brother was rushed to the hospital. And that, again, in that moment, he was gone. I remember it so well. It's the most vivid thing in my life outside of me hearing about my gramps. I sat there in my office just in shock and sheer disbelief. I mean, the most wonderful, kind, sweetest, friendly, just joyous person that anyone could know and would have been blessed to have known was gone in an instant. And all my mind could go to was, and all of these heathens and hellions are still just walking the world just fine. And this precious soul is gone, and no one else will be blessed with his presence. And we won't either. I mean, this right here, all out slap in the face reality of now. No more next time, no more laters. Now. And the more I thought about it and just began to think about this thing, there really is no such thing as later or next time. The truth is, each moment that we breathe and we move and we have our being is right now. And literally a minute later isn't promised. So right now is what we have. And you want to make the most wonderful right now moments that you possibly can. And even deeper than this, as I began to look at things as a whole, the true essence of life isn't even really in this moment of time that we call life. It's the vastness of eternity. We're all going to go someplace. The question is, where are we going to go? Heaven or hell? Eternity is very real, whether you want to believe it or not. It's very real. And what we do here during this short time on earth makes a difference between where we go and how things are enjoyed or not enjoyed in the vastness of eternity. We're only here on this earth to do what God has for us to do for such a short amount of time compared to eternity. Everything you do or don't do is important. So today, I am encouraging you to live in the now, yet with eternity in mind in everything you do. The ultimate goal is to hear the Father say, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." And he will use you and your gifts and your talents to fulfill his purpose and to reveal his glory while you are living in the now. The Amplified Version of Proverbs 16:9 says, "A man's mind plans his ways as he journeys through life, but the Lord directs his steps and establishes them." You should very well plan for the work and the things that you want to do towards the future, yet trust in and seek the Lord first. Be present in the now and respect the finiteness of life, as no one will be here forever. You want to enjoy and embrace every moment and everyone that you love, while keeping eternity in mind in everything that you do. Now, very emotional. I'm holding it back, y'all. Is there something that you've been saying you're going to do that you haven't done? Is there someone that you've been meaning to call and still haven't called them? Is there something you keep hearing or sensing that you really need to do, but you intentionally keep putting it off? Today is the day to stop with the procrastination. Today is the day to cease from inactivity and to forge habits of doing. It is definitely your time today to boss up. Today's the day. The only day you have is today. You know the saying, yesterday is gone, tomorrow isn't promised. You have to make moves today, and bold ones. No matter what they are, how big, how small, it is time to do. It's time to do that thing that's been playing in your mind since you started listening to this episode and heard what I was going to talk about. Or that thing that just kind of ran through your mind right now and then it left real quick, but you heard it. Or it's sitting right there on your mind right now, just yelling at you, talking about, yes, she's talking about me. That thing right there, hunty, that is the thing, and it is time to do it. Now listen, most importantly of all, If God has called you to do something and you know that God has called you to do that thing, you need to do it. When you delay in doing what God has called you to do, and you know you clearly heard what he said to do, you're only slowing down what's in store for you, and more than likely, the blessing that is waiting there in store for someone else. Remember, life is not about us. Life is about God's glory, and it is about the community in which we live in. It's about each other. So you have to do what you've been told to do and trust that God will be with you. His word says he'll never leave you or forsake you. God believes you can do it, or he wouldn't have told you to do it. I believe you can do it because God told you to do it. Now you just need to believe that you can do it because God told you to do it. So now you just choose to boldly go and do it. Go do the things that are on your heart and in your mind to do. And if you just, a lot's going on in your mind right now, you're trying to figure it out, take some time, grab a notepad, a journal or something, and really take some time and think about what it is that you want to do, what God has called you to do, things that you enjoy, even things that you don't enjoy. Because I have found in life some of the things that I don't enjoy, I actually need to do because they need to be done. Whatever it is, take the time to discover what you need to do. And do not delay, do not procrastinate. Boldly go forth with your gifts and your talents and make that thing happen. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I know that marvelous things will happen for you as you continue to break free from struggles and setbacks in your life. If you receive value from this episode, please hit that good like button. And if you know someone who might need a little bit of what you just received, please hit that good share and pay the blessing forward.